guys, welcome back to the 411 Mamas. My name is Kat from IJKfamTV. I do have my own channel and I'll have that linked down below. Today's video I wanted to share with you guys this little board that I made recently, and it is regarding the usage of electronics in our household. So I made this board. It says electronics rules and consequences. However, I did forget to add the consequences on here because I ran out of room, or I just totally forgot. But I have gone over it with my kids and they do understand it. This kind of like a rough draft, and I will redo it with the consequences. Before I get started with all of this, I am going to throw a disclaimer out there that I do not think that this is the proper amount of time to use any electronics for your kids. This is what I have decided for my children, and this is what I think will be working best for us. And I'm making this video just to kind of show you guys how I do it in my household. Hopefully you guys can give me some tips and let me know what you guys do in your household. How do you guys control the usage of electronics? And I also know that a lot of you guys won't agree with some of these things that I'm about to share with you guys, and that's okay too. Don't knock me for allowing my kids to have their electronics once in a while, as I won't knock you for any reason why you don't believe in them. We are here to I don't know, motivate each other, uplift each other, give each other tips, and, you know, just to share each other's individual parenting. And that's what parenting is all about. We all have our own ways of parenting and raising our kids, so let's not knock each other for it. All three of my kids do have iPads. I have a 9-year-old boy, a 5-year-old boy, and a 2-year-old girl. I do time them. Before creating these rules, I did have other rules, and my rules have continuously changed, but they're kind of the same. Just little bits and pieces have changed, and I will go over all of that with you guys, as well as my consequences. And again, let's keep this an open dialogue. I want to know what you guys do to control all of the electronic usages in your home. I know some of you guys are like, I don't believe in it because they need to be playing outside or whatever, but my kids do play outside. My son likes to play sports and all of that, and they like to ride their bikes. They play with toys and all of that, but this day and age, it's just inevitable because technology is just continuously evolving, and kids will have, you know, their chances on their computers and iPads, whether it's at home or at school. So it's kind of nice to kind of give them an allotted time to do this at home, as, like, you know, for their leisure activities, because I know they do have to use a computer for school nowadays. My kids have homework on the computers, and I will not use that time against them. Okay, so let's get started with this, you guys, and I hope you guys can share some of your tips with me. So we keep this somewhere in the house where everybody can see, and I have utilized these rules for a week now, and it has been working really well. The kids have been listening and doing really well with it. So I have electronics, rules, and consequences. Like I said, I forgot to write down the consequences, but they know. One of the basic rules that we've had for a long time now is 1 charge per day. So if they want to charge their iPads before they go to bed, that's when we let them charge it, and they have that 1 full charge the next day. It's a weekday. They won't even use the whole charge, but on the weekend, sometimes they will. But 1 charge per day is all they can have. I don't care if they forgot to turn off their iPads or whatever, they're responsible for 1 charge per day. So number 1 is no devices at the dining table or at meal times. And this is something we've struggled with because especially when we're out and about and they get bored. I'm guilty. I'm one of those parents that used to just be like, okay, go on your iPad or go on your iPhone just to keep them occupied. But now they know that this is going to be a rule that I'm gonna try to always be firm about, and that is one of the big changes that I'm doing this time. And another little rule that I put aside here is no phones at nap time or bedtime. This is such a bad habit because then they'll forget to fall asleep on their own, especially when they're younger, like my daughter. If they're just laying there trying to play, if you know you try to keep them occupied by giving them a phone or their iPad, I think it is such a bad idea, and I have done it in the past. But that is a new rule that I am going to be absolutely firm about, is no phones at nap time or bedtime, because I want them to be able to fall asleep by themselves without depending on electronics. And number 2 here, I have 1 hour on weekdays, 30 minutes at a time. So during the weekdays, they will, after homework and taking a bath and dinner and all that, or before dinner, as long as they're finished with everything else, they get 1 hour a school day, but 30 minutes at a time. And before, I used to have them check in with me, but now I have them use their timer because their iPads and iPhones do have timers on them and they know how to use that. So once the timer goes off, 30 minutes is done, they know to put it away, go play with something else, and then you can go back and finish your last 30 minutes later. The little notes I put down: use timer, of course, never at bedtime, check in with mom or dad. We used to do that. Sometimes they still check in, but I still want them to use their timers. And this one is like an absolute must: no C or below grades. So it's going to be general grades or even paperwork grades. We get to see their grades on this app that we have from the school. Every day we look and check to see if there's any graded papers that are C or below. If we see a C, they lose their privilege for that day and every day until we see better grades coming in. And then number 3, 2.5 hours on weekends, 30 minutes at a time. Same thing with the 1 hour on the weekdays, but on the weekends they get 2.5 hours, of course 30 minutes at a time. Same thing, they gotta use a timer, let us know when they're using it, never at bedtime. And oh gosh, this is one thing that I always have to emphasize: no fighting, especially about video games. And they especially, my 2 boys, this is mainly my 2 boys because my 2-year-old daughter hardly uses her iPad, but the 2 boys, if they're playing Minecraft or something together, they end up fighting. And that is one of the rules that I put, because once we hear fighting because of video games or their iPads or Xbox or anything, then they are banned from it for the rest of the day. So these rules go for the computers, Xbox, any kind of consoles that we have out there. We have the Wii, we have PlayStation, it goes for their iPads, well, I have one son that has an iPhone. Any electronics that they want to use for 30 minutes, they just let us know which one. It's easier for them to time themselves when they are on their iPads, or my son is on his iPhone because they do have that timer. But when they're on their video games and the consoles, using the TV or watching TV or on the computer, they just gotta check in with us. Consequences: if they get caught ignoring their alarm clock or forgetting to check out after their 30 minutes, then they lose 30 minutes. And if it's continuously going to be like a problem and they're gonna extend their 30 minutes without letting us know, then they lose their privilege for the rest of the day. And I already went over one of the major consequences that I have, which is no grades below C. Let's see. What other consequences? Of course, the fighting. There's no fighting regarding games. They know not to purchase anything at all. Anything that is money purchased and it's not free, they have to use their own money. They have to wait till the weekend. If they want to download something that is free and it's on their iPads or their iPhone, we do have this family thing where if they try to download it, it comes across my phone or my husband's phone first, and we have to approve it there. So that's something that you parents should look into if you guys have iPhones and iPads. I believe it's called like family sharing or something like that, but it's really great because you can monitor what they are downloading. Let's go over YouTube. Are your kids obsessed with YouTube like my kids? My kids watch everything on YouTube, from tutorials, video game tutorials like Minecraft, to my 2-year-old daughter who loves watching Kinder Surprise eggs and all of that. My daughter only has the YouTube Kids on her iPad, and she doesn't really understand it yet, but we do take away the iPad from her. She hardly uses it. She hardly remembers to use it like her brothers, but she is the one who I have a problem with as far as falling asleep with her iPad, because she wants it sometimes, especially during nap time. But sometimes she'll forget about it, which is great. And as far as YouTube with the boys, there's a lot of video games, video gaming related videos out there that they watch, and I can hear from far away, and it has bad words. Now my kids know what the bad words are. They know that they are bad. They know not to use them. They know not to repeat them. So as soon as they hear a bad word, I will go check what that video is, and they are banned from watching that channel ever again, and they know the deal. As soon as they hear a bad word, they'll even say, okay, this one has a bad word, mommy, I'm not watching it anymore. But that is one thing that we have to monitor, is what our kids are doing online. And my son is now starting to text with his friends, and I have to go through his, I know it's kind of bad because we are you know, not really giving them the privacy that my son is 9 years old. He doesn't really need that privacy. What do you parents think? I will look through his texts, and so far have not found anything incriminating, thank goodness. But I think as parents, we need to monitor all of that as well. Social media. Are you parents allowing your children get involved with social media? My son does have a Facebook, but I monitor it, and I only allow him to add family, and I approve everything and all of that. He does have a YouTube channel, but it's also private. I mean, it's public, but comments are private, and I have to approve it and all of that. What else? Instagram. His Instagram is monitored by me. He's only allowed to follow and be followed by family and some of his classmates whom I have met before. It's really scary out there. I know we allow them to have all of these things. You guys are probably like, well, why do you let them have all of these things if you know all of these dangers are going on out there? Well, that's why we're there. We have to monitor everything that they do. I know they're not gonna like it. Maybe when they go to bed or something, check through their texts, check through what videos they're watching. I am so glad that so far my kids have been very cooperative and have been following these things. I also wrote them a little side note in the bottom. My 5-year-old can't read it yet, but I have read it to him and he understands it. It says, kids, this is for your own health and safety. It is also for your well-being. We are not punishing you. We love you. The world has so much more to offer. Be kids, play with toys, run around, go outside, ride bikes, find a favorite TV show, and read a lot of books. Lastly, never speak to strangers online, and they know, or anywhere else. So I'm going to redo this. I'm going to add the consequences, and I also want to hear from you guys. What are some of your rules? Any tips you can give me? Any feedback so I can redo my little electronics rules board right here. I pretty much covered what I do in my household as far as electronics usage, and yeah, please share with me some of your thoughts, some of your rules, and any tips that you can give me is greatly appreciated. Thank you guys for watching the 411 Mamas, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye!